The COLENG family, beautifully seated in their attire. Please, a round of applause for the COLENG family. They are well represented. And we also welcome our deans and directors in the procession. Please, a round of applause for our deans and directors in the procession. And to all the well-wishers and members of our family or other family members of Professor Ismaila, we welcome you also. So to this end, permit me to specially invite our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Olusola Babatunde Kehinde, to specially give the welcome address and welcome everybody specially. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, you may be seated. Thank you. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Development in absentia, the Acting Registrar, the Acting Bursar of the University, University Librarian, the Dean, College of Engineering, Professor O.U. Dairo, Deans of other colleges, Students' Affairs and Postgraduate School, Directors of institutes, centers and units, Head, Department of Mechanical Engineering, other heads of departments and units, distinguished members of the University Senate, distinguished academic and professional colleagues in FUNAAB and from other universities, all non-teaching colleagues, academic mentors, my Lord's spiritual, temporal, and royal fathers, friends of the university and special guests, members of the immediate and extended families of Professor Ismaila, friends and well-wishers, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, great FUNAABites. May I ask at this juncture that Professor Salami Olasunkanmi Ismaila please rise and remain standing beside me here. Thank you. It is with great honor and privilege that I welcome you all to the 92nd edition of the inaugural lectures series of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. The early life and education of our inaugural lecturer of today. The inaugural lecturer of today, Engineer Professor Salami Olasunkanmi Ismaila, was born in Ibadan on July 21, 1965, at Ile Garuba, Popoyemoja, Ibadan, to the late Pa Rufai Ismaila, Baba Koda, and Mrs. Hajara Salami ní Lasisi. In effect, Professor Salami will celebrate his birthday day after tomorrow. No, next month, by July 21. He started his education at St. Anthony's Catholic Primary School, Molete, Ibadan, in 1971 and completed it in 1977. He was at Egbado High School, now known as Yewa Secondary School, Igbogila, in Yewa North Local Government Area of Ogun State, between 1978 and 1983. He was the senior prefect in the 1982-1983 session and left the school with the best overall results in the 1983 West African School Certificate examinations. He attended the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro in Ogun State from 1984 to 1986 for his National Diploma in Mechanical Engineering. Professor Ismaila graduated with distinction and was awarded the Best ND Graduating Prize in Mechanical Engineering. He then proceeded to Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, for his Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering in 1986 and graduated in 1990 with a second-class upper division. He attended the University of Ibadan in Ibadan for his postgraduate studies and earned an MSc in Industrial and Production Engineering in 1999, as well as a PhD in the same discipline in 2006 with a specialization in ergonomics. Work experience. Professor Ismaila had his primary assignment during NYSC at Shiroro Hydropower Station from 1990 to 1991. From January 1992 to March 1992, he worked briefly as a sales engineer for pneumatics at MET Nigeria Limited. In April 1992, he joined Capital Preservative Limited as assistant manager, projects, and left for AG Leventis Nigeria PLC in September 1993 to assume duties as technical purchasing officer. He was appointed the maintenance engineer of Leventis Technical, now Frigo Glass Industries Nigeria Limited, Sanyo, Ibadan, in April 1998, and left the services of the company in June 1999 for Trans Wonderland Nigerian PLC as the operations manager. He later assumed the role of general manager in the year 2000. He resigned his appointment in 2007 to join the services of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, as Lecturer 1 in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. He rose through the ranks until 2016 when he secured the chair of professor. Professor Ismaila was on sabbatical in the Department of Industrial and Production Engineering at the University of Ibadan between 2013 and 2014 as a senior lecturer. Between 2021 and 2023, he was a professor of mechanical engineering, ergonomics, on sabbatical in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, University of Mines and Technology, Takwa, Western Region in Ghana. Administrative and community service. Professor Ismaila has some administrative experience in this university, and these include, among others, Head of Unit, Mechanical, Works and Services Department, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, June 2008 to March 2010. PG Coordinator, Department of Mechanical Engineering, May 2010 to January 2011. Deputy Dean, College of Engineering. Director, Federal University of Agriculture, Bureau of Transportation, popularly called FUNAAB, between December 2015 and June 2018. Professor Ismaila was the Dean, College of Engineering of this university between August 1, 2018 and July 31, 2021. He has served various committees also in this university, among which are Member of Senate from January 2011 till date. Member, Appointments and Promotions Committee for Academic Staff. Member, Implementation Committee for COLENG Accreditation of Engineering Programs in 2012. Member, Users Committee for the construction of 2,500 auditorium. Incidentally, that's the auditorium in which we are seated now. He was a member of the Users Committee. He was a member, College of Engineering Committee on Study, Research, and Publication. As a service to the community, Professor Ismaila was the Technical Secretary, Committee of Deans of Engineering and Technology in Nigerian Universities, CODET, from August 2018 to 2021. He was a member, National Engineering Games Committee, Nigerian Society of Engineers in 2013. He was a membership board of the Nigerian Society of Engineers in 2010, and later he was the Financial Secretary, Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, Oyo State Chapter, 2010 to 2012, and so on. Professor Ismaila has been a reviewer for many journals, both local and international, some of which are Nigerian Society of Engineers Technical Transactions, Ergonomics, published by Taylor and Francis, United Kingdom. He was also a reviewer for Journal of Engineering, Science and Technology, published by School of Engineering, Taylor's University in Malaysia, as well as being a reviewer for the African Journal of Science, Technology, Innovation and Development, published by Taylor and Francis, United Kingdom. He has held external examiner position and assessor at following universities: University of Ibadan, Federal University of Ekiti, Federal University of Technology Akure, and Federal University of Technology Owerri, to mention a few. Professor Ismaila has been a research proposal evaluator for the Research Grants Council in Hong Kong, China since 2017, and was recently appointed as a research fellow at Inti International University in Malaysia. He's also a member of the Board of Trustees of the proposed Minaret International University, Ikirun, which is being promoted by the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria. Professor Ismaila has published 95 articles in reputable journals and referred conference proceedings, mainly in the field of ergonomics, as well as one patent. He has a patent to his name. He has successfully supervised more than 50 undergraduates, 10 PhD students, and 20 MSc students as a major or co-supervisor. Professor Ismaila is a member of the Ibadan Progressive Union, the first club of Ibadan indigenes, and vice president of the Popo Yemoja Development Union. And he is currently the circuit president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria, Oluyole Onoara, and he's happily married and blessed with children and a grandchild. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you this unassuming, dedicated, practical-oriented, and erudite scholar, Professor Salami Olasunkanmi Ismaila, to present the 92nd Inaugural Lecture, the 10th in the College of Engineering, and the 4th in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, titled Ergonomics, a paradigm shift from FPJ to FJP towards adopting human-centered engineering. Thank you all, and God bless you for your attention. Professor Ismaila. Are we set?
Distinguished members, the Vice-Chancellor, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Development, the Registrar, the Acting Registrar, the Acting Bursar, the page is missing here. No problem. Once again, the Vice-Chancellor, the Deputy Chancellor, Academic, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Development, the Registrar, the Acting Bursar, and the University Librarian, Dean of College of Engineering, Deans of other colleges and directors, HOD, Department of Mechanical Engineering, other HODs.
You need what?
And CODA Chairman, I recognize you. Distinguished member of the Senate, distinguished academic and professional colleagues in FUNAAB of Ramadan universities, all non-teaching colleagues, my academic mentors, my Lord spiritual and temporal, royal fathers here present, friends of university and special guests, members of my immediate and extended families, friends and well-wishers, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, great FUNAABites, great FUNAABites, and greatest of the greatest FUNAABites. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, it is with gladdened heart and gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I stand before this august gathering of eminent scholars, distinguished allies today to deliver this inaugural lecture, which is the 4th in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, the 10th in the College of Engineering, and in at the 2nd of the university, with the title Ergonomics, a paradigm shift from FPJ to FJP towards human-centered engineering. Today is actually a landmark in a journey that was never in my dream, though a workmate of mine at Diamond Foods Limited, Alomaja, was the first to call me professor in 1985, when I had yet to even obtain a national diploma in mechanical engineering. But we actually was industrial attachment at the moribund Naibu Plastics in Ibadan. After my primary education, I was already been advised to become a trailer driver. If not for my aunt, who vehemently opposed that proposition and told my parents that I could become a better mechanic if I further my education. My journey to academia started after I obtained my PhD in industrial engineering from the University of Ibadan. Though, after my national diploma, I worked in industry for 16 years. In the course of preparing my proposal for a PhD program, I decided to look at ergonomics, which was one of the topics that we were taught in advanced work system design, and we didn't have enough experts. My choice of topic was actually spiritual. So during the literature review, I found that the height of human beings decreased over the day, and it was linked to dehydration. So I narrowed down my thought to lifting and tried now to marry lifting with that spiritual spinal shrinkage. In the course of that, a verse of the Quran came to my mind. And a few sentences of that verse is that Allah does not burden a person with something more than he can bear. That was actually what led me to that proposition, and a title of my thesis came out, which was Post-Work Height Shrinkage Base Model for Predicting Seat Weight of Lift. And that started my journey into the world of ergonomics. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, I'm happy to say that I'm the first to have a PhD in the area of ergonomics in the Department of Industrial Engineering in the University of Ibadan. Which of the favors of Allah will you deny? What is ergonomics? Ergonomics actually was derived from two Greek words, nomos and ergon, which can really be translated into the laws governing work. So it's more or less like interrelationship between man and his working environment. And that environment is physical as well as the ambient environment. So ergonomics deals with the design of workplace, equipment, machine, tool, product, environment, and system by taking into consideration the human, physical, psychological, biomechanical, and physiological capabilities, while optimizing the effectiveness and productivity of the work system. And then, of course, assuring that the man is safe and healthy while doing his work. Human factors engineering was emphasized by the US military with the concentration of human engineering and engineering psychology. The emphasis on ergonomics is actually on work physiology as well as anthropometry. But human factors is on experimental psychology and systems engineering. Ergonomics is used in Europe, while human factors engineering is used in America. And of course, presently, ergonomics is driven by technology, but it has been predicted that in the future, ergonomics will actually drive technology, and that will be a proactive design approach. The main aim of ergonomics is to be able to reduce the risk of injury, not only to make man always available, but to also make his job easy for him. And then the ultimate aim of that is to increase productivity, because in any organization, the main intent is to have a high profitability. And profitability is a function of productivity as well as price recovery. So a lot of industries in Nigeria concentrate on the price recovery area, where whenever there is an increase in production, the next thing to do is just to increase the price of goods. That is not to be. We should afterly come back to look at the productivity aspect. Where can we enhance our productivity so that we can actually enhance profitability? The field of ergonomics is charged with tools and techniques for the development of optimal satisfaction of user, manufacturer, regulatory, and other requirements of the product. Ergonomics must therefore integrate human beings into the machine systems, using rigorous scientific methods and appropriate techniques to identify human-machine mismatches and, of course, find workable solutions to these mismatches. Initially, ergonomics came into the world by a man we call Jabrowski, when he wrote a book, The Outline of Ergonomics, and that was the first time that ergonomics actually appeared in 1857. And that term was reinvented and formally established by Morel in 1949. The Second World War prompted greater interest in human-machine interaction, as the efficiency of sophisticated military equipment could be compromised if we have a bad or confusing design. Therefore, the concept of fitting the machine to the size of the soldier actually came into being. So after that World War, the concern expanded to include the safety of the worker as well as productivity. This is the basic model of ergonomics. And in that model, we see the human and machine interaction as well as the environmental component of that. For the human beings, we have some sense organs, which has to do with sensing capabilities, information processing as the brain, and of course, some actions, which has to be done with effectors, our hands and our legs and so on. And then that interaction will come into being on the control side, where we have the machine. So on that control, it's either whether we are trying to open a valve or close a valve, that will now give an operation where we can have an output. And of course, that will be displayed on, the readings will be displayed on what we have a display. Ergonomics can be classified into four main parts: the physical, environmental, cognitive, and organization ergonomics. For the physical aspect, it's talking about anthropometry and some other physical capabilities. While for the environment, we are talking about the ambient environment. And of course, organization, we are talking about the crew size management and all that. For the cognitive, it has to do with the brain. Ergonomics is also multidisciplinary in nature, because so many people are coming into the world of ergonomics. We have university engineers like myself, we have psychologists, and then we have medical scientists. We also have anthropologists. In fact, those people, the people who started ergonomics were actually the psychologists. So human beings, we know, differ in terms of capabilities, structure, mental functioning, and of course, physical and experience, as well as the habits and behavior. So for us to be able to have a man that's not going to manage our system, then we need to use and effectively employ the man to be able to manage our socio-economical systems. And some of the questions we need to ask ourselves are, what are the issues a designer should consider when you are designing engineering facilities? And how are you going to address those issues when we are going to integrate human beings in engineering facility design? And that came down to what we call the human-centered design, which is a theory that tries to place the end user at the center of the design process. And of course, nowadays, that terminology has been redefined to say that we are not going to talk about only the end user, but all stakeholders that are involved in that project must be taken into consideration. And that now becomes what we call human-centered design. While ergonomics provides the foundation for addressing physical aspects of design, HCD, which is human-centered design, expands that scope to be able to create a more comprehensive and integrated approach that is going to consider the entirety of the user experience and then a broader engineering process. These disciplines contribute to the creation of products and systems that are not only comfortable but efficient and also aligned with diverse needs of users and their expectations, the involvement of the users, and the consideration of their characteristics in terms of capabilities and limitations brought about what we call human-centered engineering. And then the shift from FPJ to FJP is actually the change from fitting the person to the job, which is the traditional approach, to fitting the job to the person, which is what ergonomics preaches, is actually the human-centered approach. This paradigm shift towards fitting the job to the persons represent a more individualized and flexible approach, designing jobs and work environment to be able to accommodate the diversity of human beings, improve job satisfaction, performance, and health. Ergonomics at the CP in Nigeria probably started with Professor Oluwafemi Kehinde Akimayowa, who obtained an MSc in ergonomics in 1979 through an open university course. Incidentally, Professor Oluwafemi Kehinde Akimayowa actually had a Bachelor of Degree in psychology before he went ahead to obtain an MSc in ergonomics, and later on a PhD in production engineering in UK. And he published 2 papers. Other earliest researchers in ergonomics were in the area of agriculture. We have Unwaba, who did energy requirement of hoes and cutlasses. We also have Wagami, who also look at the ergonomic characteristics of some of these traditional hoes and cutlasses. And then Ibeka Oluleye look at the ergonomic aspect of thresher. And then researchers in those areas were Okuribido in 2000, Adaramola 2006, and of course, Ismaila and Charles Owaba 2006. However, a study conducted by Ismaila in 2010 showed that there was a low level of ergonomics awareness in Nigeria, with ergonomics oftentimes confused with economics, and therefore, the application of ergonomics is yet to be appreciated in this country. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, my opening contribution to knowledge. I will be speaking in 3 areas here, which has to do with lifting and carrying, and of course, anthropometric data collection and ergonomic evaluation. We are aware that lifting and carrying loads are potentially dangerous, and then we have to encounter them even with our automation daily in our activities. Automatic data collection is all very important because that will lead us to be able to design comfortable facilities, engineering facilities. And of course, ergonomic evaluation and assessment is to be able to analyze and improve on our facilities so that we can actually enhance production and protect the worker. The first paper I'm going to talk about here is a paper published by Ismaila and Charles Owaba in 2012 on a quantitative approach for establishing shape weight of lift. Like I said earlier, during the course of collecting data for this research, we found out that our height decreased over the day. And then there was a one startling revelation. We took, I call them professional carriers, the so-called Alabaru in Bodija. We took their height in the morning and in the night, in the evening, and then some other professions too. But amongst about 3 or 4 of them, actually slept for 1 or 2 hours during the course of taking the measurement. And we found out at the end of the day that their own spinal shrinkage was as it were in the morning. So, because they were equal, we make inquiries. What happened? They said, no, we slept 1 or 2 hours, which is an indication that we need to do a little of the rest. So, we were able to establish a model and compare our model. That's the model that we have there. So, we were able to compare our model with the established models in the literature. The one by NIOSH, the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, which is recommended weight limit, maximum acceptable weight limit. And our model actually give us values that were consistently lower than those established values in the literature, which means these values will be able to be more protective of the workers than the earlier established model. The other one, we expanded that model to determine a safe back weight limit for secondary school students in Ibadan. And we are aware that all of us like carrying backpacks, even our pupils at primary schools or nursery schools. We burden them with a lot of unnecessary things, books that are not needed, and then they wobble around to get to classes and so on. yet we drag them along to get to school. So we were able to now remodel that and establish what should be the maximum weight limit or mass limit that some of these our students should be able to carry all about. And with what we have, based on the 5th percent, to be able to protect about 95% of those students, we said what they are going to carry should not be more than 5% of their weight. Incidentally, the first model and this model were actually subject specific. So you can take your own data, put in the model, and determine what the maximum weight you can lift and so on, which was not what we had earlier on. Then the other one has to do with design of ergonomically compliant desks and chairs for primary school students in Ibadan. Ismaila and others in 2015 also obtained some data for pupils in primary schools in Ibadan, and of course established what the measurements that are needed, to be able to produce chairs and tables for those students. From what we have, what presently they are using is actually not compatible with some of the anthropometric data. And of course, we are also able to now segment the furniture in those primary schools from 5 to 8 years, 9 to 12 years, 13 to 14 years, and then we compare them with the existing structure and find out that they are actually at variance. Again, we went ahead. We know our drivers complain of backache a lot of, a majority of them. So Ismaila in 2022 developed some mathematical models to be able to design driver bus stations in Nigeria by considering the vertical and horizontal distances of the seat reference point, SRP, and of course with the pedal and then the steering. And then we came on to have some specifics in terms of dimensions to be used when designing some of those buses. Incidentally, some of the buses we have here were also considered. Mr. Chairman, sir, some of the buses we have here when I was a FUNAAB board were also considered, and of course, some of them did not actually pass the tests. So we developed 4 models in terms of the shoulder, elbow length, elbow wrist length, and then the hand length, and they have 4 models for horizontal as well as the vertical. So those models can be used. Once we are able to know some of the apparent dimensions of those drivers, then we can move into the model and get the necessary dimensions for us to be able to design the appropriate chair for them. Then we went ahead to actually propose some dimensions of the chair that they are going to use. And that was done by Ismaila et al. In 2014 to be able to have some dimensions that we can use for our bus drivers. And those dimensions are actually presented in table 5. Yeah, we also went ahead to conduct an ergonomics assessment of maintenance jobs in a gas power station. With here, we are actually able to develop what we call a work severity index, which we went ahead to divide our jobs into tasks and then identify the ergonomic aspect of that, have personal data, task data, and environmental data. And then we came up with what we call a work severity index, which is 0.24 of total risk index of personal factor, 0.22 multiplied by total risk index of environmental factor, plus 0.54 of total risk index of task factor. And then from here, we are able to see that it is the task factor that actually contributed a lot to work severity index. So the implication of this is that we have to concentrate and redesign that work so that we can reduce the work severity index. For the specifics, we have for individual subjects that we use in the analysis, we calculated their work severity index. And work severity also has to do with age and experience. For somebody that is newly on the job, it's likely that the work severity is going to be higher, especially because of the task factors. He doesn't have much experience as far as the work is concerned. Then we also went ahead to look at the environmental aspect. And then we look at noise exposure in a certain factory that I don't want to disclose. It's a back manufacturing council. It's based in Lagos. And we went there, took the blood pressure, systolic and diastolic, while the workers were on duty. when they were off duty. In fact, they have 2 shifts, morning and night. And then we took the doctors are here, we took those dimensions, and then we were able to establish that there was actually a link between blood pressure and noise exposure. So based on what we have, especially on this graph, you will see that from we have a reduction up to a certain level, which is around 89 decibel for the systolic. So we are recommending that the noise level should not be more than 89 decibel, so that we will not be exposed to hypertension in our workplaces. Then we also went ahead to determine or formulate a model to determine the cardiovascular strain of sawmill workers in the Southwest. Of course, we have some models before, and then we have this is one of the simplest of the models that we are going to have. So we have this and compare with the existing models, and of course, this model also compare favorably. So the sawmill work is actually on the high grade, which needs to also be redesigned. So based on the heart rate only, the work sawmill was classified as very heavy and of course extremely heavy. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, I've been the major for academic mentorship and guidance. I've been a major co-supervisor in some postgraduate research pursuits. Most especially, I've been privileged in conjunction with Adesuyi, Oyelami 80 and Shitu TA to patent the development of vertical jam pounding machine. And the patent number is NGPTNC 2020-6296 in Nigeria on August 8, 2022. And this actually was a push from the former Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Development, Professor Sonny, when they sent us a video of when they have a party and they need to pound the yam. Nowadays, jam are not pounded, but are grinded. So we said we can do something better, and that was why I put a student on that, and we're able to come up with a design that has been patented. I've also been able to guide Dr. Aye Musa, Dr. S.S. Dulami, Dr. S.T. Amosun, Dr. A.P. Azodo, Professor A. Adekunle in 4 years, is now a professor, Dr. Lawrence Jayesimi, Unilag, Dr. H.O. Adeyemi, no OU, and is presently based in Anderson, in Canada. Dr. M.O. Makpokwola is in Mapoli, and Dr. O. Adewi, who is working with GT and presently Director General Center for Industrial Engineering Research and Economic Development in Abeokuta. So I've served as a mentor and I'm offering valuable guidance to numerous students, alumni and staff of this university and other institutions, both within and outside Nigeria. The Vice-Chancellor, sir. In conclusion, there is need for proactiveness in design of workplaces and tools by adopting ergonomics as is the future of technology, such that our products will satisfy the customers, make life pleasant, comfortable, exciting, and cost-effective. And of course, it's going to meet other regulatory requirements. I now advise head of institutions and agencies to adopt ergonomic principles so that we can reduce attendant costs associated with adopting anti-ergonomic principles, as good ergonomics is good economics. The principle of fitting the job to the person, rather than the traditional fitting the person to the job, as God created man with capabilities and limitations, and that fact has to be recognized. Of course, presently, what we fix is the job. And then we are looking at the people that to fit into that job. But the economy is saying no, it should be the other way around. Fix the person, because his limitation and capabilities are already there. And then use job to fit him. And that is the essence of FPJ to FJP. So that transition from fitting the person to the job to fitting the job to the person is actually towards considering human factors in the design of engineering activities. And of course, make man as the center of our design. Recommendations. There is need for us to provide economically compliant workstation and training of workers on their proper use. Incidentally, sir, we know that when a new person is employed, we will be looking for offices for him, talk less of furniture, and then after purchase of furniture, will just give me any furniture, irrespective of his own arithmetic dimension. Just go and manage it, and nobody complains. Sir, if it's over, the first thing is that when somebody is employed, the first consideration is to take arithmetic data of that person and then provide his share that could match his own arithmetic capabilities. The teachers and head of school should strictly follow the school timetable and advise the students or pupils appropriately to reduce the load that students bring to school. At most, it should not be more than 10% of the body mass for males, and of course, 9% of body mass for females. Workers also should not be exposed to more than 89 decibel to reduce susceptibility to incidents of high blood pressure. Encourage regular breaks and stretching exercises to prevent prolonged periods, more than 4 hours of sitting, and reduce the risk of muscular issues. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, the essence of having our meeting, Senate meeting longer than 4 hours, we need to revisit. If it's going to be 5 minutes of break or 10 minutes of break, we need to go around and stress our lack, especially because of that fact that we are able to establish with the professional load carriers. When they slept for 1 or 2 hours, their height was as it was in the morning. So that means having a little break is good for our health. Thank you, sir. There's need for the establishment of an anthropometric data bank and a department in National Productive Center to promote and oversee ergonomics practices. Acknowledgement. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, the man standing before you today was a near corpse on August 4, 1989, when I was involved in a traffic accident. And that accident affected my left eye and the right leg. Today, I thank God for his favor, mercy, grace, love, and protection. In fact, I was not alive for some few hours until I was resuscitated. So I give thanks to Almighty Allah, who made me somebody from nobody. Probably if I died that time, there is no going to be Professor Ismaila today. Alhamdulillah. I want to thank all the Vice-Chancellors, especially Professor Adamson. He employed me on temporary basis in 2007, though I never met him. I didn't even see him face to face. And then Professor Balogun regularized that appointment. And what I had at the interview was one of those things that propelled me to be a professor today. Because at that interview, Professor Balogun was asking me what was my major challenge. At that point in time, I had only one conference proceedings, and I was expecting one journal article. So I said, it has to publish paper, publish or perish. And I don't want to perish, I want to publish. So I started publishing. So he also appointed me as head of mechanical youth in work and services. I thank him immensely. Professor Obi Oyewole appointed me as director of FUNAAB. And Professor Oyenikome actually announced my professorship. Not only that, he gave the members of my team, FUNAAB, letters of commendation for job well done. Professor F.C. Salako, I thank you. And of course, the current Vice-Chancellor, sir, you appointed me as one of a member of the editorial board of FUNAAB Journals. Thank you very much, sir. I thank all the deputy Vice-Chancellors before now and now. Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Professor Akinyemi, we supervised my first academic son together. Deputy Vice-Chancellor Development, Professor Kola Adebayo. The Acting Registrar, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Daudu. Thank you very much, my sister. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma. I know there are certain periods we ruffle things together. Thank you, ma. The Acting Bursar, Mr. Olukayode Oshinuga. Thank you, sir. University Librarian, Dr. Abayomi Owulabu. My Ibadan man. We are together. Thank you, sir. I also thank all the past Deputy Vice-Chancellor, registrars, bursars, university librarians that I won't be able to mention all of them in that jiffy. and all. Prof, sir, I thank you, sir. Incidentally, I think one way or the other, we had one thing to do together when your son won the best student in engineering in the whole of Nigeria when I was the technical secretary of CODET. Thank you very much, sir. College, I appreciate College of Engineering family. It's a wonderful family. I thank you. Today, I've been taken around. Thank you very much, sir. And mass. I also thank the current dean, Professor O. Udairo, former and current of the departments, Professors ESA, Ajishegiri, I call him Esha. Yeah, thank you. Professor B. Adewumi, JK Adewumi, MAY, TME Olayanju, Aya Adejumo, BSI Kuye, O.R. Adetunji, O.S. Awokola, my brother. Thank you very much, sir. Well, I won't disclose certain things that happened. I know one time you are one of those people who actually recommended me behind my back to the then Vice-Chancellor, Professor Obi Oyewole. Thank you, sir. Jewa Akinyele Adenilewo Ayola Yeyi Adeleke. Acting HOD, Dr. Eno Adekunle, my brother from Ibadan too. Thank you very much, sir, for your also support. Engineer Yanwu, Engineer Lumide Olaitan, and all of them in mechanical and all every staff in the in College of Engineering, especially when I was a dean, your cooperation is highly appreciated. Former college officers, sorry if I don't mention all the names, former college officers and the current, former college accountant and the current, former and current secretary to the dean. I also appreciate all academic and non-teaching staff of the department, of the college. When I was in works and services, Professor S.B. Adeju was our coordinator, administrator. Incidentally, he's late now. And then Professor Oluwafemi was already there. So I want to thank them for the support I got when I was there as head of unit mechanical. I thank Engineer Mrs. Banjo, J.O. Ramoni, Razak, D.O. Bolaji in FUNAAB, A.O. Gumbande FUNAAB, Mr. Ali FUNAAB, and of course the team leader in FUNAAB, Abulaziz Ojetola. I don't know whether he's here. I thank you very much for your cooperation. CODAT, I thank the former CODAT chairperson, especially Professor, chairman, all of them, chairman, especially Professor Atayeshi, because I work closely with Professor Atayeshi, and of course the current chairman, Professor O.S. Showande. Jokingly, I told him he was more or less, we were together as a secretary when there was an uproar and we need to relate. That uproar, I think I was to stomach it. The CODAT chairman understand what I'm talking about. Thank you very much, sir. So I want to thank the chairperson of the population committee, Professor Elin Bodide. She has been with me today. And then before the break, we were also together. Thank you for your all great work. And everything that is good about that publication, I give it to them. But any error, I take it. Thank you very much. Professor Bakari, I thank you. We are together on FUNAAB this morning. And all the members of the committee, I want to thank you for this glorious occasion. When I was in Tabatika, one of them was facilitated by Professor V. Oladokun. And then the one in Ghana was actually facilitated by Mr. Okra, who was the registrar. I never know the man from Adam. I just sent him my application and he started processing it. So I want to thank him greatly for that. All members of the Department of Industrial and Production Engineering, University of Ibadan, I want to thank them. Department of Mechanical Engineering, University of Mines and Technology, Takwa, Ghana, I want to thank them. I also want to thank Professor Luleyo, Professor Olaleye, Professor Olaleye Futa, we were together in Ghana. Professor Akintude, we were together in Ghana, and then Professor Seidu, and some other ones, time will not permit to be mentioned. I've also been external examination assessor to some universities. I want to thank University of Ibadan, FUOYE, FUTO, Ladbroke Akintola University, and then FUTA, as well as Research Grand Council, Hong Kong, in China. Some people have also supported me, for this occasion, and I want to especially thank Dr. Abu Ahid Olanloye, the permanent secretary in Ogun State, is going to be retiring on the 28th of this month. MC staff, you are all wonderful. Dr. Adekunle Musa, Engineer Gbemi Odumosu, Dr. T.K. Oriolowo, Engineer Ewi Adeshuyi, Dr. T. Yusuf, Dr. P. Azodo, Engineer Yoshilalu, Dr. E. Olanipekun, Engineer K. Ayoade, MC class of 2007, and Engineer G. Nwosu, Engineer W. Anyaniyi, Dr. S.T. Amosun, Engineer V. Soje, and then Mr. Abjeli Latiba. I want to thank them greatly. And for all my teachers, from St. Anthony Primary School up to Yewa, now Yewa, Egbadu High School, Igbogila, especially Mr. Lakalantan. He was actually my mathematics teacher, and he made Algeria very interesting for me. Mr. Usu Ansa, a Greek teacher, is from Ghana. Mr. Adeoshun, geography teacher, later became the registrar of FPI. That's Federal Police Laro. And then Akinola, my Fokai, that's our chemistry teacher. He's late now. And then Mrs. Sukomi, Mrs. Lakalantan, and all others. I also want to thank Engineer Sabitu Olagoke, who actually initiated my spiritual alertness. He forced me to become a member of Shafaudi. Though later on, I think superior argument prevailed. Then my supervisors, I want to thank Professor Emu Faburode. He was my undergraduate supervisor. And that's the former Vice-Chancellor of Bamidele University. Professor Oji Akanbi, thank you, sir. I think I see you here. He supervised my master's project. Thank you very much, sir. His sister was not tired. Thank you, sir. Then Professor Oji Charles Owaba, that's my PhD supervisor. He brought the best out in me. When I started and along the lagging came into him, he would prop me up. No, come. So and today, I thank God that he's also looking at one of his academic mentees becoming an inaugural lecturer. For the UI connection, Professor Eyi Oluleye, Dr. Okuribido, if not for Dr. Okuribido, I don't know whether I will finish my PhD, because he provided with a lot of literature in that area, and I thank him profoundly for that. I brought him here to deliver a lecture where that's the first COLENG lecture series. So I thank him very well. Professor V. Oladokun, Professor C. Ayanche, Dr. Kolawole A.D. Adeyeye, Dr. Mushola Bolaniwa, Dr. K. Adebiyi, that's the immediate past rector, FPI, and Professor Yiye Oyetunji. In fact, myself, Dr. Adebiyi, Professor Adebiyi, and Professor Yiye Oyetunji were actually the Etaoko in industrial and production engineering when we were running our PhD. So our theses were being treated together. So when I get to PhD, so we don't get to the PhD, you ask them, where are the other two? So you are actually the Etaoko. So I want to thank them greatly. I also benefited from some of the research activities that we carried together by Dr. K.T. Oriolowo. For the federal government and man, Muslim Association of Nigeria, I didn't appreciate the federal government because I enjoyed the scholarship, a postgraduate scholarship in 2001-2002. That's the fact that I was working. I also want to thank Muslim Association of Nigeria because they gave me a grant while I was also on the PhD. I work in CPL and AG Leventis. CPL, that's Capital Preservative Remit, is owned by Bamidele Ajayi Smith. I want to thank him profusely. And Chief JBOK, OON. Chief JBOK, I never met him. Even after that interview, I have not met him. But at the interview, the question that he asked me was like, I don't even know. Yes, somebody asked a question and said, why are you interested in technical purchasing? And the man said, tell them you want to come and chop our money. So I was dazzled and said, any other question? And that was why I left. I said, I failed this interview. But honestly, I was actually the only person that was picked after that. So I want to thank him, Professor. I didn't know what he saw in me, but I thank him. Late engineer Oboigbato, Rufus. I thank him, Mr. Rodinos. Engineer Akim Adetunji, we work together in AG Leventis. In Transborderland, Engineer Bolaji was one of our directors. He's also late. Alhaji Mubi Adepoju, that's the father to Mutu Adepoju. I want to thank him profusely. He's also late. And Alhaji K. Adeshokan. For the National Board of Engineers, all the past chairmen of Ibadan, Engineer Samadeke, Oya Jibola, Professor Kola Ogedengbe. In fact, Professor Kola Ogedengbe, there was a time that the youth organ in Nigeria Ibadan were planning a coup. We want to topple the elders. And then, of course, we didn't have our way. So there and then, Professor Odegbami nominated me and said, you disreputable man, go and become the technical secretary. And I imagined the technical secretary. When I got to CODET, he was also the one that nominated me to technical secretary. I said, okay, and eventually became technical secretary, and we know your capability. So thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. And Professor Eyi Adeniran, Engineer Olayinka Ali, I think should be here. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Engineer Olayinka Ali introduced me to IPU. In fact, it's more or less forced me to be an IPU member, and he's the immediate past president of IPU. Thank you very much, sir. Engineer Iyo Jekunle, Professor A. Olonishola, Vice-Chancellor, Dominion University, Ibadan. Engineer Ilori, Gbenga Ilori, Engineer Salawu, the current chairman of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Folani Bello. He told me he won't be here because he had other assignment in Osogbo. He's actually coordinating the whole of that area. So I want to appreciate all members of Nigerian Society of Engineers Abeokuta branch, Engineer Shogba Ike, Engineer Wolan, and Engineer Abbas. Engineer Lawal is also late. May God repose their souls. Engineer Olonode and the current chairman, Engineer Yadenuga. The Nigerian Institute of Mechanical Engineers by the chapter, the current chairman, Engineer Wale Ayanride, I want to appreciate you. Engineer Folabi Oseni. Engineer Oseni was the one that started NIMEC in Ibadan, and I became his vice. So I want to thank him profusely. Engineer Salau, Professor Edari, Engineer Ojedele, Engineer Ogunranti, and all members of the chapter, I want to thank you. Federal Poly Ilaro, I was there. And some of my classmates, Engineer Tajuddin Olori, I don't know whether he's here, he's working in his, Engineer Alahaji, Tajuddin Olori, thank you very much for gracing this occasion. And of course, Engineer Yaya Karim, he's also late. Paul Achurefe, Yemi and Yinka Badina, Yemi Kekere, Yemi Gbangba, thank you very much. EHSI, the president, Mr. Biodun Olasunkanmi, Brigadier General R.L. Akinlawon, retired. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing the occasion. 83 set is one of the superb sets. Golden set, you call it. Thank you very much. Brother Thomas Adetoye, Mr. Ejidele Ezekiel, he told me he won't be here, he's in Abuja. Chief Mufta Olanikwekun, Dr. Abuaid Olanloye, Mr. Ahmed Adeshina, Dr. Dauda Olanloye. For IPU and PDA, I thank Engineer Chief Olayinka Ali, IPP, as well as Engineer Oladeji of blessed memory. All members of IPU are appreciated. I also want to thank Pukpo Yemaya Development Union, headed by our own engineer Alaji E.S. Ajani, the Mogaji Odande. He's a retired permanent secretary, but he's also not tired. My landlord associations, both Thai Landlord Association as well as ONIEFUN, I want to thank you. And then the FUNAAB Muslim community, my gratitude is extended to all members of Muslim community under the able leadership of President Latif Adedimeji Sani, a mega job of Ibadan too. I want to thank you. I appreciate the chief imam of Ibadan. In fact, when I had a bubble, the imam would meet me on the road and said, Ekusuru. That slogan rings bells always. Thank you very much, sir. I want to acknowledge all members of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Nigeria, from national to the branch levels, under the able leadership of Alhaji Abdulaziz Alatoye. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome, sir. I've also seen the Sadar here, Sadar Majid Asandullah, Engineer Alhaji Daud Raji. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. And all members of the entourage, I want to thank all of you. I thank all members of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Oluyole Circuit for their support. And my family, I'm very grateful to my father and mother. May Allah grant them Al-Jannah Firdaus. I'm also grateful to my maternal grandmother, Mrs. Umani Aweru Olanriwaju. It took me to Igbogila. Despite the fact that I had an admission at Ikire, Ayidade Grammar School, he said, no, come to Igbogila. So I was there with her in Igbogila. And my aunt, Mrs. Mukpelola Akiyemi, and her husband. Thank you, ma'am. That's the woman who said, you can become a better mechanic if you go to her institution. I want to thank you very much. Otherwise, I won't be here today. Probably I will be chairman of NUPENG. I sincerely also want to thank my other siblings. Muibat Abbas is late. She's late. Mrs. Basirat Latif, Mrs. A.M. Babalola and her husband, Ms. Morufat Onobote, she's also late, Kausara Morufat Oluwasegun and other siblings. My in-laws, I want to appreciate all my in-laws. Oba Festus Olaleye is also late, and Ayaba Olaleye, they are late. So we are all Morukans for giving their daughter in marriage to me. I sincerely thank Prince Olusegun Olaleye. He called me this morning that we won't be able to grace this occasion, but I'm sure that he's at home listening to this. For giving their daughter in marriage to me. In fact, Prince Olusegun Olaleye and Princess Taiwo Ogundele, who is also late, for their understanding, especially during the saga of Things Fall Apart. I want to thank them. May God, may God repose their souls. It was from Oba Olaleye that I heard that Chino Achebe actually wrote 3 books in succession. Things Fall Apart, No Longer It Is, and Senna Cannot Hold. So I want to thank them. So I thank Prince Rotimi Olaleye, Prince Idowu Olaleye. I also want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Aziz Ajani, both late, for also giving their daughter to me. I appreciate Honorable Adeni Ajani, Tiaiwo Ajani, Idowu Ajani, Basirat Olagebu, Ademola Ajani, and Mrs. Adirunke Salami and her husband. For my children, I thank Allah for the children God has provided for me. Abdul Ismaila. My house is full of M's. Mujib Ismaila, Abdul Ismaila, Musmaina Ismaila, Muafakula Ismaila, Mufala Ismaila. So I'm a family of M's. And my grandchild is also Manu. So thank you very much for your understanding and diligence. May Allah increase you in piety and bless you always. And these are the people that I have to run to Ibadan every time. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, when they accuse me of going to Ibadan, it's because I find tranquility in the home. If there's no tranquility, I would rather want to stay in Abeokuta. But that peace there want me to run back home. So thank you for this. So I thank the door of Mrs. Olukemi Abike Ismaila. That's the pillar of the house. And Mrs. Kehinde Mudasola Ismaila for being pious, dutiful, caring, reliable, understanding, and supportive. I thank Allah for granting me this loving duo as wives. May Allah continue to bless our togetherness. And then our house is actually on triple stand. Thank you very much. So, on the final note, I want to thank everyone that has listened to this lecture. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Please, you may be seated. You may be seated. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. At this juncture, I would like to receive the 92nd inaugural lecture from the inaugural lecturer, Professor Ismaila. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please don't go yet. You will agree with me that it has been an exciting time listening to that inaugural lecture on ergonomics. Actually, I've gained something very much as a Vice-Chancellor, because in reality, I wonder how I will give Professor T.M.A. Olanyoju the same chair as I will give Dr. Uji Adeosun. You have made sense, sir. But please, before you write me to come and measure your size and fit in the chair, wait until when federal government will give me money to make more furniture, and then we'll send a circular around that we will collect this. But really, this is the beauty of academics, in the sense that what we have been taking as for granted as being normal, they're actually not normal. And so we must have a rethink, and we'll definitely do that. So, Professor S.O. Ismaila, in honor, this award is presented to you from the Senate, staff, students of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. I present this award of honor to Professor Salami Olasunkanmi Ismaila as the 92nd inaugural lecturer of the university, dated this 19th day of June 2024. Congratulations, sir. Thank you very much. Still, on behalf of the university, as you run back to Ibadan, please take this along so that they can add to the peace in the home and use it to cook for you. Congratulations. Thank you. Please take this on our behalf. Please have your seat. Have your seat, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the 92nd Inaugural Lecture of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, titled Ergonomics, a Paradigm Shift from FPJ to FJP towards adopting human-centered engineering. And now we all know the meaning of FPJ, fitting the person to the job, unlike fitting the job to the person. Thank you so very much, Professor Ismaila. Before we leave, please permit me to recognize actually just a few dignitaries in our midst. The inaugural lecturer has recognized so many people, and I join him to thank you and to appreciate your coming. But please also permit me to recognize the immediate past Deputy Vice-Chancellor, academic of our university, Professor COLENG Ikeobi. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much. I'm seated to his right. He's also a Deputy Registrar 1 and a prominent member of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, my own junior brother, Alhaji Dr. Abdusabur Salam. You are welcome. But probably I breached protocol, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please help me to thank and appreciate and to welcome specially Barrister Abdulaziz Alatoye, the Amir, the National Amir of Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat in Nigeria. Shehu. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for joining us. You are welcome. Also beside him is Alhaji Abbas Irumini, the National Secretary, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. You are welcome, sir. We want to appreciate you. And as I said, the inaugural lecturer has appreciated a lot of people, but please permit me to also welcome those who have been keeping the home front very secure, very serene, and very safe for our brother. Thank you so very much for keeping the home safe and peaceful for him. We thank you, and we thank the entire family, the children, and the grandchild of our inaugural lecturer. Thank you so very much. All members of the University Senate, thank you for coming. Deans and directors, thank you for coming. And the COLENG family, it's your day today. Thank you so much for coming. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, every member of staff, the Landlords Association, I can see you seated. Everyone, we want to thank you and we welcome you. We appreciate you for joining us at this 92nd Inaugural Lecture of our university. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Please let's sustain the applause. Let's sustain the applause. It's indeed an interesting lecture. Let's have our seats. Before we take the anthem, let's quickly take this announcement. For the entertainment, please, members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers and Nigerian Society of Mechanical Engineers, members of the Egbado High School, all students, and the Ibadan Progressive Union and Popo Yemoja descendants, family and friends, please, you gather at the new COLENG building. It's just behind this hall here for your entertainment. All engineering staff also, please, at the same COLENG building for your entertainment. Academic staff, go through exit A here. The non-teaching staff go through the exit B, and students are to remain in the gallery. Thank you once again for being here today. So to this end, may we have the anthem in reverse order. FUNAAB anthem first.
we shall ever stay. Millions of our fatherland to success we will sail. Every darling of one we shall ever stay.
National Anthem.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. Oh God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you very much. Please, let's remain standing while the academic procession files out in reverse order through the center aisle. We
Thank
want
you
to
very
appreciate
much.
you for being here today, and we want to also appreciate especially in our midst, Brigadier General Ido Akinlawan retired. We appreciate you for coming. We want to appreciate Mr. Shitu Olabode, BOT member, Kupoye Major Descendants Association, Alhaji Latif Badamosi, BOT member, Kupoye Major Descendants Association. We want to appreciate engineer, want to appreciate Bamidele BJ, Chairman-elect Nigerian Society of Computer Society, or your state, and auditor Kupoye Major Descendants Ibadan. We also want to appreciate all the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat that are present here today.